Have you ever felt like you've been grinding nonstop, breaking a sweat, burning the midnight oil, waking up early, and still getting nowhere? You study hard, fill your notebooks with neat, detailed notes, but your grades barely move. You work tirelessly, pile reports high on your desk, but your boss is never impressed. You devour books on investing, but your portfolio stays in the red. And somewhere along the way, you start to wonder, I'm giving it everything I've got. So why am I still failing? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The worst kind of failure isn't falling short. It's failing after fooling yourself into thinking you were making real effort, when in reality it was just busy work dressed up to look productive. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee success. In school, in your career, in relationships, effort without reflection, without direction, just keeps you spinning in circles. But here's the good news. There's a way out. Today, we're going to unlock a game-changing mindset. What real effort actually looks like. It's about working smarter, learning from your mistakes, and moving forward with clarity. Through real stories, relatable examples, and practical lessons, you'll begin to see why some people leap ahead while others stay stuck. Stick around, because by the end, I'll show you how to shift your entire approach, starting today, and finally get the results you've been chasing. We've all been taught since childhood. Hard work is the key to success. Parents, teachers, society, they all repeat the same message. Just try harder, and you'll get there. But life doesn't work like that. Effort alone isn't enough. In reality, much of what we think is hard work is actually false effort. It looks intense on the outside, but adds little value in the long run. You've seen it before. The student who rewrites incorrect homework over and over, but never stops to ask, why did I get this wrong? What's the pattern here? So when the next test comes, they repeat the same mistakes. Or the employee who perfects every font, colors every chart, but doesn't know what decision their boss actually needs to make. So the final report, while pretty, misses the point. Or the investor who reads every article and crunches every number, but has no clue how the company makes money. They're drowning in effort, but starving for insight. The common thread? These people aren't lazy. They're just running on autopilot, repeating tasks, not questioning assumptions, and mistaking movement for momentum. They live inside the illusion that staying busy means moving forward. But fake effort is like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're exhausted, but you're not actually getting anywhere. Real effort feels different. It's directional. Every step serves a purpose. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone. Every round of feedback sharpens your next move. And that's the turning point. Once you stop measuring how much you're doing and start measuring how well you're learning, everything changes. Take this story from a chemistry class. After a tough test, the teacher asks students to document their mistakes. Most of them copied down the questions, wrong answers, correct ones, and decorated their pages with colors and sticky notes. Their notebooks looked impressive. But when the next test came, with similar questions, most of them still failed. They blamed the test. But the real problem? They copied, but didn't reflect. Their effort was cosmetic. Except for Sarah. She only wrote down 5 mistakes, but each came with deep analysis. This equation required balancing, and I forgot to check the state of each compound. This question tested my understanding, not my memory. I need to read more carefully. Her notebook wasn't fancy, but it was powerful. She understood the material. On the next test, she crushed it, even solving problems others hadn't seen before. Because she didn't just memorize, she learned. The takeaway? Don't confuse effort with effectiveness. 1 hour of thoughtful reflection beats 10 hours of rote repetition. Always ask, what did I actually learn from this? Now let's go to the workplace. Meet Emily, a junior product manager at a startup in San Francisco. She was assigned to pitch a new software feature. Her boss just said, make it good. Her coworkers dove headfirst into research. They built a 40-slide presentation with animations, market data, and sleek charts. It looked incredible. But during the meeting, the boss glanced at it and said, too much. I need to know why this matters to users. Emily took a different route. She spent the first day asking, what's the real decision here? What does my boss need to understand to say yes? She talked to the support team, read customer feedback, even skimmed her boss's old emails. Then she asked for 5 minutes to clarify one thing. Are we prioritizing customer retention or revenue growth? That 5-minute question changed everything. She delivered a tight, 10-slide presentation focused on 3 sharp points. Users want a faster, cleaner experience. Feedback confirms it. This feature boosts daily engagement by 15% based on testing. Competitors don't offer this yet. It's a strategic edge. Her presentation was short, targeted, and approved immediately. She got a promotion within the year. Lesson? Real effort starts with real questions. One smart question can save you from weeks of wasted work. And finally, the story of Airbnb. Back in 2008, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia were broke in San Francisco and couldn't pay rent. So they came up with a wild idea: rent out air mattresses in their living room to people attending a conference and serve breakfast. They called it Air Bed and Breakfast. It flopped. A handful of guests, skeptical friends, no traction. Most people would have quit. But instead they studied the failure. The idea wasn't bad, it was poorly executed. Their website looked amateur, the photos were blurry, and people didn't trust the idea of staying in a stranger's home. Instead of dumping money into ads, they talked to customers. They discovered that photo quality was key to trust. So they hired photographers, upgraded the site, added reviews, and built ID verification. By 2011, Airbnb had millions of bookings. Today, it's a $100+ billion company in over 220 countries. What made the difference? They didn't just hustle harder, they learned faster. And that's the real lesson. Failure isn't the enemy. Staying blind to your failure is. Those three stories point to one crucial truth. Real effort isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters. In today's world, we're often obsessed with being busy. We brag about working 12-hour days or studying until 2 a.m. as if exhaustion is a badge of honor. But being busy isn't the same as being effective. According to the Pareto principle, 80% of meaningful results often come from just 20% of high-quality effort. A notebook with 5 well-analyzed mistakes can teach you more than one with 200 blindly copied ones. A one-page report that hits the mark can be far more valuable than 10 pages of polished fluff. The key is this: we need to rethink what we celebrate as hard work. Especially in the US, we tend to reward the appearance of effort: long hours at the office, late-night cram sessions, perfectly color-coded notes. But this mindset feeds a culture of performance over progress. Real effort takes courage. The courage to ask uncomfortable questions, to admit what you don't know, and to prioritize depth over quantity. Psychologists like Carol Dweck have shown that people with a growth mindset, those who see failure as a chance to learn, tend to grow faster and farther than those who avoid mistakes. In business, models like the lean startup encourage quick failures in order to learn faster. In education, researcher Anders Ericsson introduced the concept of deliberate practice, which means intentionally focusing on weaknesses, seeking feedback, and continuously adjusting. The examples of Sarah, Emily, and Airbnb all reflect this principle. They didn't just work hard, they learned from what they were doing. But perhaps the most powerful thing about real effort is this: it leads to freedom. When you understand the why behind what you're doing, you no longer need to memorize every trick or follow every rule blindly. You start to see how the system works. Like a great chef who no longer needs recipes, they can improvise, adapt, and create. That's what real effort unlocks: not just improvement, but creative independence, freedom of thought, and flexibility in action. And you can begin that shift today. Here are 5 practical strategies to help you move from fake effort to real growth. Start with clarity. Before you begin any task, whether it's a project, a study session, or a conversation, ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to achieve? One moment of focus can save hours of misdirected work. Analyze mistakes instead of just fixing them. Don't just correct what went wrong. Understand why it happened. Each failure is a goldmine if you're willing to dig deep. Seek high-quality feedback. Not all feedback is equal. Find people, data, or mentors who will tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. Prioritize impact over output. Don't fall into the trap of doing more for the sake of doing more. One meaningful action is worth more than 100 meaningless tasks. Think in principles, not hacks. Instead of memorizing surface-level tricks, understand the underlying logic. Principles give you tools that last far longer than any shortcut. Now picture yourself at a crossroads. One path is lined with endless to-do lists, constant pressure, pretty reports, and the same mistakes on repeat. It feels familiar, it keeps you busy, but it leads you nowhere. The other path is harder. It asks more of you. It demands that you stop, reflect, and question everything you thought you were doing right. But that path? That's the one that leads to real progress, to a better version of yourself, to meaningful growth. Because success doesn't belong to those who do the most. It belongs to those who learn the fastest. We've all been lost in the loop of busyness at some point, thinking we're moving forward when really we're just spinning our wheels. But the moment you pause and ask, what am I really learning here? Am I actually moving in the right direction? That's the moment everything begins to change. That's the moment you start a new chapter, one of awareness, maturity, and real growth. No one is born knowing how to do things right. No one masters anything without getting it wrong first. But the people who change their lives have one thing in common. They face their mistakes, they learn from them, and they keep going. Success doesn't belong to the smartest person in the room. It belongs to the one who learns the fastest from their scars. And if today you're feeling tired, discouraged, like all your effort has gone to waste, maybe it's not that you need to try harder. Maybe you just need to try better. Believe this. If you're willing to start again with a clear mind and an open heart, no failure is permanent. Sometimes what you need isn't a stronger step, it's a smarter one. With wide eyes and a learning mind, your journey forward could become the most powerful proof of what real effort can do. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.